Welcome to MDY Live Episode 5. We are so excited that you're joining us tonight. First, a couple reminders. We will remind you of our MDY Virtual Camp or Virtual Summit happening the week of August 17th. You're going to want to join us for that. And then we are also very excited to be announcing if all things go well as far as the coronavirus cases going down, we are planning on having a master rally all together August 21st at the campgrounds. We're really excited about that, and we can't wait to see you. That plan is subject to change per regulations and everything that's happening within the state right now, but we're really excited about that and hope to see you all on August 21st. Our guest tonight, I'm going to give you one clue, even though you already know who it is, and I'm going to see if I can do it justice. Let's go! He'll tell me whether or not that was good. I probably just woke my son up, who's upstairs asleep, but it's all good. My wife will tell me whether or not I did that later. But we're excited to have Kyle and Janessa Thayer. Kyle is our Section 7 youth director for MDY and also our P7 coordinator for the district. He also serves on the P7 committee for the general youth ministries. And Sister Janessa is going to be doing a session with the appointed ministries for the young women for the Michigan District UPCI. You can catch her on that. It's on the appointed, I believe it's appointed UPCI Facebook page or appointed MI. She can correct me, or Sister Andrea can put that in the comments where you can find that on next Thursday, July 16th at 3 p.m. Sister Janessa is going to be talking about prayer. So welcome to the show, Brother Kyle and Sister Janessa Thayer.
Thank you.
Let's go! Actually, I think you were louder than me, so that was a good one.
I tried to restrain myself. Luckily, I got some separation of floors between me and the sleeping baby. So we'll find out who woke him up. But
your wife's gonna be like, "Yo, never again."
That's fine. It's all good. We'll just have to do it. I'll have to go outside next time or something and do that.
Yeah.
My kids will be mad at me. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the first ever MDY. Well, your first time ever on MDY Live. This is episode 5 for us. But you guys are super busy people. It's incredible. I don't want to say I admire how busy you are, but you guys are involved in so much. I am so impressed with how involved you are in ministry right now. I know I mentioned a couple of things, but can you just tell us a little bit about all of the things that you guys are involved in right now?
You want to go first? Go first.
No, you go first.
Me first. All right. At the local level at our church, we serve as youth pastors. Then my wife also helps with music there a lot, and the music and youth. She's truly the rock star. I really don't do anything. She actually does all the designing. I just act like I design
now
stuff.
We're lying. Now he's got to pray.
But no. So we do youth pastoring, and then, like you said, we serve as the Section 7 youth leaders. The best section, just wanted to say that, the Section 7, let's go. And then, P7 on local level, and then promo director of P7 on the national level. I'm just blessed. We're just blessed. I know it sounds like stress or stressful, but maybe the lack of hair, maybe that's why. But
we weren't going to mention it.
I thought maybe some people would be like, your picture was totally different. But no, it's a huge honor. I remember growing up just praying like, hey, Lord, I just want to do everything I can, and God answer prayers.
That's awesome. Anything you want to add to that, Sister Janessa?
I think you got most of it.
I hope we don't do anything else.
What's your favorite thing to do? Do you have a favorite? Or something you like doing more than others? I don't want to get you in trouble with, your pastor, your piece of director.
I really enjoy ministering to the youth. I mean, that's truly my heartbeat. There's nothing beats the moment you preach a message or you spend time with kids, and then you see the direct benefit from that. I remember first starting out in youth ministry when we first got married, became youth pastors, and I'll just say, we all know Money Man Mike, right? from camp. If you don't know Money Man Mike,
Yeah, Mike.
you haven't been to camp. But when the Mike I knew was totally different than the Mike everybody else knows. But his story is transformation, and there's nothing better than that. I remember picking up Mike and counseling him, preaching to him, and now seeing him as a God-fearing man. That nothing beats that. That's my favorite. Close second would be designing. I love creating things. I think, we were made in the image of God, and he, we know he created stuff. I just think it's, that's our God-given thing. We create music, we create design, it's what we're born to do.
That's awesome. What about you, Sister Janessa? Any particular thing that you?
It's all my favorites. No, truly though.
The easy answer.
It is such a blessing to serve in God's kingdom in any capacity, but for sure when you're working with youth and you see the fruits of your work come to fruition, it's just amazing. There's nothing that beats that, and seeing students, their lives that change for the better, that change for the good. That's why we're here. To win those lost souls. And of course, I love music. That's my heartbeat right there.
She sings a little bit.
Yeah.
If you want to hear her sing, go check out our first Master Rally from earlier this year.
Oh no.
Let's go.
Just a plug for that.
No. Well, you can watch it to skip over the songs if you do. But no, I truly love music. It is one of my passions, so that's a very big favorite of mine.
Awesome. Now, you've been involved in MDY for a while, camp, other district events. Give us a funny story or just a cool story, something. Tell us an MDY story.
Okay.
Or a few.
It's on the verge of funny and gross though.
It's gross.
Let's
go. It's actually Austin Lehman. He's not part of our district anymore.
You already know.
One year we had this great idea. We're like, hey, let's make a mudslide. We'll just spray a bunch of water, and I think my brother at the time had a side by side. He was making some mud, and first people would go, me and Austin Lehman, and we're like, let's do this. And so I go head first, we're sliding, and next thing I know, Austin Lehman is like, hey, help me up. And I look down and I see his foot, and one foot's this way, and the other foot's backwards, and I was like, dude, you're not standing up right now. He's like, why? I was like, do you see your foot right now? And he literally looked down at his foot and just went pale white. So that might be one of my favorite moments. It's probably gross and funny.
Super gross.
But I think that was one of the last really serious injuries I can remember happening on the campus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably a really bad idea. I think one of my coolest. This was as a camper. It just stuck with me so much. I remember Michael Enzi preached a camp when I was a camper, and at the time he was youth president, and I got to ride driving around the golf court, and that just stuck. I probably didn't say a word. I was probably so nervous, I'm scared, but I just remember I was like, dude, I got to drive around Michael Enzi on the golf cart.
Made you feel real special.
It did.
Well, if you're a camper, technically campers aren't even supposed to be on.
Oh yeah,
golf
yeah.
cart.
Sorry,
we don't do that.
I broke.
It sounds like you had a special designation though, so that was ordained.
Yeah, campers. When we do have camp again, campers no riding golf carts, no stealing golf carts.
Yeah.
That can't do that.
It's okay. I'm pretty sure. So this is episode 5. I think most of the stories we've had told about camp involved of some sort. So follow the rules.
Follow the rules.
Yeah.
You'll still make good memories.
Probably.
I'm not say that disclaimer.
You can do it.
Why?
Maybe. I intentionally didn't tell you the stories when we broke the rules as campers.
You didn't break rules.
I didn't break any rules.
I didn't break any rules.
You're lying, I feel, right now, but
I was a good kid.
Somebody hears it.
Kyle, I feel like you have a Janessa breaking the rules story that you could tell us.
I honestly don't, because when I was a camper, she was probably a counselor, or maybe okay. I don't remember Janessa as I was a camper for certain reasons.
Moving on. All right. Scroll down here in my question list. So before we jump into this next section, we're going to talk about P7 clubs. Audience watching, if you have any questions for Kyle about P7, drop them in the comments below, and we'll make sure that they get asked. So, Brother Kyle, what advice do you have for students who are thinking about starting a P7 club, or like know about P7, or like, I'm not too sure? What do you say to those students?
First, I know this is generic, but definitely pray. Pray about the situation. Pray if you need to do it. I think sometimes we overlook that, hey, I just need to ask God to give me strength. But if you're on the fence, just do it. I know that sounds simple. I know you're going to be nervous. We're all going to be, like, even the outgoing person is going to be nervous. And you might be thinking to yourself, I'm the most shy person in my school. And you might be. But you know what? Those people that's going to come into P7, they're shy too. And they're going to respect that you're trying to start it. I think it's really funny. I think there's like a perception that we go through that, like, when you're trying to speak in front of people or you're trying to start something, like, everybody's thinking negative about you. Like, I have a gap in my teeth, and it's like, that's what everybody worries about, but then nobody notices it, right? So a lot of times it's like you're self-conscious about it, like, but nobody cares about that. They care about what you're trying to do and what you're trying to start. I would say probably the biggest tip I can give for starting a P7, like, do everything you can with the administration of your school. I know right now it's kind of, we're not in school, but when school starts, like, be best friends with the principal, like, be early.
Follow the rules.
I'm telling you, we always get, we get some students that are like, oh, my teacher won't let me start a P7, and we find out, like, they're late to school all the time. They don't turn their homework in. They're like, why should we trust you with starting a school club? You don't even respect us. So definitely first, respect your teachers. That will go a far way. I know a lot of teachers that, like, a student is a great student and the teacher will do whatever, like bring in snack, sometimes we've seen a lot of P7s taught by, co-taught by teachers, because that's how much the teachers really care about these clubs. So take care of the teachers, give them gifts, even if it's just a simple gift card,
cookies,
Starbucks, chocolate. Yep, let's go.
Yeah, I like that. I think people overlook that fact. They're like, nobody, everybody's being mean, and they're telling me not, I can't do this and I can't do that. And then, you talk, like you said, you talk to their administrator, their teachers, and you're like, well, yeah, they're not a good kid at school. So if you want to start a Christian club, you got to be a Christian example.
Oh, come on.
Well,
can Austin get an amen in the comments? Let's go.
Yeah. I think that's a great point that I think people overlook. You gotta live Christian before you start a Christian club.
I promise you, schools right now in Bridgeport, that's the school I went to in high school, middle school, and elementary, and they're like just begging for people to start a club, but like, don't have the right student. These schools are looking for people. These schools are looking for students willing to start a Christian club. And that's my, I think of the, the Bible verse in Matthew, the harvest is, plenteous, but the laborers are few. Like, be that student, be that good student. The devil would never tell you to start a P7 club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So don't think like, oh, the devil's lying to me, like I can't do it. Like, no, like start it, see what God will do.
Yeah, and also just to add on to that, God's going to give you, even if you are a shy person, I'm a naturally shy person myself, you know, if you step out and take that leap of faith, that step of faith, God is going to give you the resources and the tools that you need. As soon as you step out, he's going to be there to guide you along the way. You just got to make that first step.
I do see a comment, Austin. Do you mind if I jump in on one of these comments?
Go for it.
So I see somebody ask if are P7 clubs for homeschoolers? I love this question because yes, they are. And I remember pre-COVID, you know, we had a lot of homeschoolers like, hey, I'm a homeschooler. How can I start a P7 club? I think right now we're seeing a different generation of P7 clubs than we ever had before. And we're seeing like Zoom P7 clubs, right? But like, it doesn't have to be everybody from one homeschool. You know, if you know somebody that friend is another homeschool, call them up and say, hey, join my P7 club. They might not even be in the same city. They might not even be in the same state. And if they're a homeschooler, start one up. Start an online P7 group of homeschoolers. So yes, P7 clubs is for homeschoolers.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to scroll through here as we talk. We got another comment. Could P7 clubs be set up via Zoom or Skype, depending on the school's agenda, stay off campus? We're seeing this happen a lot. I know right now school isn't in session, but when school was and, you know, COVID was going on, we've seen this a lot on the national level of a lot of P7 started or kept on going via Zoom. So, you know what I mean? The hard thing is getting your friends' contact, but, you know what I mean? Most of the times we know your friends, and they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. Go ahead and start that. I think the beautiful thing is we skip the process of approval of the school, right? Not like, oh yeah, we don't need them, but the fact that we can just do this online now, you know, if we're not in person. So
what are some digital P7 pro tips?
So I personally like Zoom.
Yeah, I like Zoom.
I honestly, you text me you asked me like, hey, what's your username on Skype? I was like, dude, I don't think I haven't used Skype in 10 years probably, and I forgot my password. I was but Zoom is super easy. The only downfall, right, is that 45 minutes or half an hour. But Facebook has a new Facebook Rooms that you could use, really cool. Once again, Instagram has chats, so you can use anything that works for you guys. Like,
if they're all apostolic, you can have FaceTime.
Let's go. That's a good idea. So
hey, your P7 director is talking trash right now in our chat.
Comments. I'll just leave that pro tip. One day, Seth, you'll be there.
Sorry. So Facebook Rooms, Zoom, Apostolic, use FaceTime.
Yeah. Skype. I'm not a huge fan of Skype, so I mean, Zoom is cool. Instagram, chat rooms, those same thing. Those would work. I even seen there's this awesome group in Canada that led by a young man named Amadi. He's doing some awesome things in there, but they do I forget what phone call system they use. They might use GoToMeeting or something, but it's just a phone call, and they get all the P7 directors. You know what I mean? So you might not have to see each other, but if you're just listening, that's cool too.
Any way they can meet. I know, like I'm getting tired of video calls for work because now everybody wants to do video call, and part of me misses being in the office because I'm typically a pacer when it comes to phone calls, and really long hallway in our office, and I'll just walk the football field length on my phone.
For sure, I'm going crazy just sitting here, like my legs shaking.
Yeah,
moving the whole table.
That's why I spin in my chair. No, that's awesome. I think are there any other P7 questions that we missed? Maybe.
I don't see them. I do like to reference the P7clubs.com. Absolutely. We have so many resources there, untapped resources. We have P7 lessons in Spanish. P7 lessons in French. We got just lessons for days. I think we're on like lesson bundle 7 or 6. So you got lessons to teach for years. So like use that. Let that place. And then the coolest thing about the P7clubs.com is that map at the top. Right when you sign in, you'll see when you log in, you'll see this big old map. And that's the coolest part, I think. When you see your school at the top and you get, oh, that's my school. I think that's one of the coolest things. And I know on the national level, we'll say, you know, are you on the map? So it's really cool. I think it'd be really cool to see Zoom clubs on there eventually. You know what I mean? You know, it might not be a school, but it's a Zoom club. I think that'd be sweet.
You should talk to your promo guy and get on that.
Yeah. Let's go.
Or the director, since he's in our comment section right now.
So Seth, that's a good idea.
Oh, and he just dropped that new resources are coming out too. So you heard it here first on MDY Live.
Come on. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
That's awesome. So tell us one more time what the P7 website was.
So P7clubs.com.
P7clubs.com.
Simple.
And also register your P7 club if you haven't already.
So get on the map.
Get on the map. It's awesome.
What? No razor, Austin Hopper. This is just a buzz. Guard 1.
A lot of hate on the hair. It's all right. We'll just keep going on. I like it. I think it's nice. I'm like our youth president.
Well, I'll show you what motivated me to cut my hair.
Oh
boy.
What?
Here we go.
I lost the picture. So the other day, one of my good friends took a picture of me looking down at my camera, and I noticed that I was balding in 2 places in my hair on top of my head. This picture right here. So I thought, just time to do it. And I heard all the great preachers are bald. So
He's been threatening to do it for months, if not for a long time.
Probably a long time.
Months. Now we're over it.
So Austin, all the great preachers are bald.
All the great preachers are bald. It's going to be an epidemic of Michigan students just go up to HYC and Master Rally and just have a bunch of, bald firing young men.
Let's go. That'd be cool. And they all say, "Let's go."
I don't even know what that would be weird. I think I'd do it.
It's the COVID haircut. You can't get haircuts. That's what it is.
There you go.
At any point during COVID, did you let Janessa cut your hair?
No. No. She wouldn't even do it if I would ask.
I won't touch your hair.
I don't know why.
On the bright side, now you can cut it. Now it's
now it'd be easy.
Save a lot of money on barber bills. All right. So a couple of years ago, I think everybody probably watching knows about this. You had a pretty big health scare. It's pretty crazy. Can you talk a little bit about what you learned during that time in your life? I mean, you're a pretty young guy, younger minister, youth pastor. What did you learn through that? How did it affect some of the students in your youth group? And can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing I personally felt like I learned is the importance of a prayer life before a big incident in your life. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's so easy to say, like, oh, I would do this if I almost died. I would do this if, you know what I mean? And you start listing things that I would do if I was dying. I'm going to tell you right now, in the moment, I wasn't thinking about those things. I wasn't thinking about what I need to be doing. I was just glad that I had a prayer life that I could lean on in those moments. Because I wish I could, if somebody said, Kyle, you're going to have a life-threatening incident Saturday of this week, I'd be scared out of my mind. I wouldn't have a bunch of faith. But I remember in that moment, I wasn't scared. I remember something like when I got the news that they were going to life flight me to Detroit, they don't know what's going to happen, really bad news, might need a heart transplant. I didn't know. It wasn't like, I don't know what to do. It was that moment. I remember the people that were in the room. I believe my doctor was still in that room, and we just began to pray. And I just felt at that moment the peace walk in, and from that moment, everything just turned around. And so the biggest thing I learned through that is have a prayer life before anything else happens in your life. Don't wait to say, you had a heart attack, now it's time to have a prayer life. No, you need that heart attack. You need a prayer before any big incident. You don't need a heart attack. That's a bad way to get a prayer life. But learn how to pray now when it's easy, and it'll take care of you when it's in the hard times. I promise you that.
Awesome. Anything you want to add to that, Sister Janessa, or anything different that you learned through that?
Oh yeah. Well, it was a pretty rough time, obviously, and at first we didn't know what was going on, and it was really hard because I was 8 months pregnant at the time. So
extremely pregnant.
I was extremely pregnant, and here my husband is, it's life-threatening issue, and I just remember going into a bathroom and calling on God, and the cool thing about God is He's always there right when you need Him. I just told Him, like, God, if there's ever a time that I need to hear You, it's right now. I need to hear from You. And all I remember is He dropped a song on my heart, and only one part of the song, and it just says, I have no reason to fear. So I held on to that for the entire time. And then after he came home from the hospital, it was really difficult because I was going on 9 months being pregnant, and he was 6 weeks of strict bed rest.
I couldn't even do the dishes.
The doctor literally said, I don't want him doing dishes. I don't want him doing anything. And anyway, so it was really hard for me because I'm miserable and I'm wanting to be healed. I just want my husband back. And, the James Wilson song, Wait on the Lord, really, that verse of scripture and that song sustained us throughout that time. Like, just waiting on the Lord, and our strength was renewed. Thank the Lord. He was there. So, yeah, that's what I would say.
I think a funny story through all this, it might not be funny. It's funny now that everything's okay. I remember when I first went into the hospital, I thought it was I was in pain, but my wife said when I got in the ER, I started, I don't remember this part, but I started yelling because I was in such pain.
Screaming.
Okay, I was screaming, I guess. It was very painful, but she said, like, in between, like, me yelling, I'd be like, stop, and I'd be like, hey, it's gonna be okay.
Because, yeah, he didn't want me to go into labor, so he would be screaming, ah! I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. Ah!
My biggest fear was...
There were 2 different Kyles in that room.
I was like, you're not okay.
My biggest fear was, like, she's gonna go into labor. I was like, you cannot go into labor right now. I'm not gonna miss my, like, first child's birth. I was like, it's gonna be okay.
Don't go into labor.
It's funny now, but at the moment it wasn't.
It was not funny. It was just like, it was a crazy time. And there's like blood on the floor from other people, and it was insane. Like, people were everywhere, doctors. He was all strapped up. I'm like, what is going on?
But clearly I was okay though.
Yeah. We're glad you're here now. Glad everything is better. You didn't go into labor then.
No.
You got her in the background.
Yeah, you hear Ari in the background.
Yeah, right on cue.
Right on cue.
My bad.
No, you're good.
All right. So I got one more question for you. Anybody who doesn't know, I mean, we already talked about you being the P7 promotional director, but let's talk about social media in today's day and age. What do students, obviously students are, some of the most social media savvy people out there, but what are some of the things that you see sort of from you're a person who uses social media professionally, things like that. What are some of the dangers that students may not be aware of on social media, or, things that even if they are aware of, that, some traps that students fall into easily on social media?
I think there's a couple things. First thing, I think what social media does, or what social media can easily do in a young person's life, is desensitize you from sin. It's so easy to scroll through your social media feed and just see terrible things, and we might not like that picture, we might not like that account, but our brain is still processing that. We're still seeing it, and we're seeing it every day. We're scrolling through it. Eventually, you're going to keep putting this into your mind, and it's going to desensitize you from that picture. And it's kind of like how sin slips into your life, and in the Garden of Eden, it's how the snake convinced Adam and Eve to eat from the fruit. It's just that daily concept of putting that in. You might not be accepting it, but you're hearing it, so you're entertaining that thought that you're looking at, that thought that what somebody's posting. So that's my first thing. It's so easy to be desensitized by social media. Here's Ari.
Oh, hi Ari.
Can you wave at everybody? They got 3 teeth now. No, 4 teeth. So that's the first thing. You can be easily desensitized by social media. And the next thing you know, you're following terrible accounts that you shouldn't be following. The next thing is, I think you need to know what certain social media platforms are made for and what they stand for. We clearly know, and we hear a lot about TikTok right now. That's probably the fastest trending growing social media. I would just be very careful for students that are on there. Just use it wisely. I personally don't have a TikTok account, just because did I say TikTok?
You said TikTok.
It's a TikTok
account.
I mean, it's just a dangerous place to be for young people. Just know what the platforms promote. You know what I mean? And then I think the third thing, I think through social media, I'm not going to say social media is all bad, because clearly, I do this for a living for my company, but I also help P7 do posting online. And so you need to be a light in somebody's feed. You know what I mean? All day, somebody's going to scroll through bad posts. What if you're the light you see that day? And, in the social media world, we call it the thumb-stopping content. What if your content you posted that day is the thumb-stopping content, and they find the love of Christ through your post? So don't be afraid to show you're a Christ follower online. Don't be afraid to show somebody love online. I think right now, I'm working on this sermon right now, but we hear a lot of songs wrote about love, right? There's tons of music. This world's looking for love, but they're truly looking for the love of Christ, and they're missing it. Mm-hmm. What if we show the people online, through your social media accounts? What if, I know that's what we try to do on P7. We try to highlight these classes, these clubs, showing the love of Christ. What if we all take the call and say, I'm going to show the love of Christ through my social media? What would the world look like today? I really think we can underestimate the power of social media if we all unite around that idea. I'm going to show the love of Christ through social media.
That's awesome.
Also, to add on to that, if I may, the other thing that I think students need to be aware of is just the time that they spend on social media. Like, a lot of our kids and students today, that's what they do all day long, is they scroll through, and all they do is look at a phone all day. Just be aware of how much time you're spending, and don't let that rob you of things that you could be doing either for kingdom or to better yourself, or even, that personal contact. I know we're social distancing now, but, when it's all opened up, make sure you have that personal contact too. We need each other. Just be aware that social media doesn't absorb all your time.
Amen.
She amen me.
Amen.
So how do you, Kyle, you mentioned, students becoming desensitized, and I think the time aspect has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, huge.
How much time people spend on social media. How do you build accountability around that, and how do you, is there a way to avoid, sort of that desensitization, or what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I think the first thing is, I personally have a software on my phone and all my devices that keep track of my social media content. I think first off, we're talking to younger people, right? So maybe parents, and if even, I'm just going to speak to a young person right now. Even if your parent doesn't promote this, find a somebody that would let you be your accountability partner, and that's powerful. And then I think this sounds really simple, but I used to follow this preacher that says don't hang out on the search column on any of the social apps. Like there's a home button, here's all my people I follow, and then on Instagram there's a search. Don't keep scrolling. Don't search for other things you're not supposed to be looking at. Follow the people that you need to follow good Christian people, and then what you could do, this is an idea that I'm just going off the cuff here, but have a friend check your followers, see who you're following, see who you like. There's a setting in Instagram you can actually see the content that you like. That'd be interesting. So be careful what you like, and it's actually interesting. Instagram actually shows what your followers actually like. So if you're not supposed to be liking certain things, your other followers can see that. Just a heads up.
So peer accountability.
Yeah, peer accountability is huge. I think in today's, and it doesn't show weakness, it shows strength. It says, I want to be a better person. That's showing strength. Don't think you're weak because of that reason. That makes you only stronger.
Yes.
So good. She's
All
right. Last thing before we go. Since we have our resident district social media expert, can you give 3 tips for churches for their social media pages right now? Everybody right now is doing Facebook Lives. Everybody has been thrown and forced into using social media and digital preaching, things like that. Give us a couple tips for churches trying to better their social media, and then we'll
I'll leave the best for the first, okay? I'm not the best for last. I think a lot of times, me included, I love taking pictures, got a nice camera. You just want that picture to be perfect, right? Or that post to be perfect, or that video to be perfect. But my number one tip is authenticity over quality. It drives me crazy on social media. I will create a post that takes me maybe 20 minutes to design, maybe 10 minutes to design, and then we reshare a post from a student that, just a terrible picture or a lower quality picture, and it outperforms it by 4 times. So in social media, it's about the authenticity instead of the quality. So the churches are like trying to pump out some great quality stuff, and that's not wrong. You want to give the best impression, but remember to always be authentic. I would like to be 100% authentic than 110% quality. People just be yourselves. Preach your word. If if the iPhone is the only camera you can use, let that be the only only camera you can use. Preach your heart out. Don't let that stop you from reaching the world, because you don't know who's going to see that video. You don't know who's going to see that post, and someone might need to see that. Second, just be consistent. I think it's awesome, because like before this, our church was posting online, and now like during COVID, you see all these other churches posting online now. I'm not calling anybody out, but be consistent. On social media, people if you post more, you're going to get more followers. And there's been a handful of times people found our church just from posting one of our posts, one of our lives. You know, don't forget the power of posting on social media. And then my last point, my third point, is just get any content you can. If maybe it's from a young man taking pictures with their iPhone, maybe you do have a photographer in your church, just post pictures of your service. You know, be careful. There's some people that might not want their picture online. Respect that, but just post some events at your church, some pictures of your church. That's people like to see what's happening at church. You know, I'm a huge fan of design. I love designing really cool graphics, but sometimes just a picture of worship that beats it 100 times. So that would be my 3 tips, pro tips.
I'll make sure to crop this part of the video and share that Kyle's 3 free tips.
Yeah, there you go.
Sign up for your free masterclass.
That would be the thumbnail.
Awesome. Well, Kyle and Janessa, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Anything else from either of you that you want to add or share with the students before we go?
Follow the rules.
Follow the rules.
I will say this. I'll leave you with this thought. I pray that we don't waste this time right now. I pray that if there's books that you wanted to read and you're looking for the time, read those books now. You're trying to start a prayer life. How perfect now that you have the time, that we're stuck inside or whatever. Take the opportunity now to learn how to pray, learn a new skill. Don't waste these times, because I really think after everything's over, is the time of the harvest. We need to be prepared.
So good. Thank you for joining us tonight on MDY Live. Make sure go follow P7 on Instagram, Facebook, social media platforms. Follow True Source Marketing, promo for Kyle's there. And then also on the appointed ministries page for UPCI for young women. Catch Janessa next Thursday at 3 p.m. Teaching about prayer. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be the last MDY Live for a little while, but look forward to virtual camp and our Master Rally coming on August 21st, and we will see you guys later.
Awesome. Thank you.